So the big cloud hanging over the Eagles' 53-man roster is, what are the Eagles going to do with Jalen Reagor and Dillard? Is Howie Roseman on the phone right now trying to make a deal? Is the little guy talking to people? And listen, the cuts are coming already. And so far, I got to tell you, I don't think all of them were that surprising. Dallas still stinks. By the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys will do well, be hanging in there. So Howie Roseman shines in these moments. He shines when you don't think somebody is worth a bag of chips, and all of a sudden he gets a player. And you're like, how did he make that trade? Now, he may trade that player the next week, but who cares? It's better than a bag of chips. Now, we're going to get into it in a second, but before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to hit that like button. More importantly, make sure to subscribe. We do Eagles stuff every day. We stream every Eagles game. It's going to get crazy around here. I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in, but I'm going to. And also, if you've been subscribed for a while, listen, you know the deal. Double check. Double moonwalk check. That's all I'll say today. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's get right into this whole thing with the Eagles, because there's a lot going on, and there's a lot that could happen while I'm making this video. Obviously, the Eagles got to get down to 53. We won't probably see the last few cuts until sometime tomorrow. However, the way things are shaping up right now, it's kind of interesting, because I look at a couple positions and I say, dude, they may end up going, to another team or making a trade or getting somebody off waivers to fill some of these positions, all right? Now, let's get right into what the Eagles have done so far, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, released. Safety, Jaquiski, Tartt. Waived. Defensive tackle, Reno Wren. Cornerback, Josh Blackwell. Running back, Jason Huntley. This is interesting. We're going to talk about this. Quarterback Carson Strong, we got to talk about this as well. And then center Cameron Tom, who is no surprise. Now, let me start with Jaquiski Tartt, okay? Because to me, out of all the cuts so far, this is the great disappointment. To me, this is the big disappointment, because you get him from the 49ers, a guy who has veteran experience, who started, and you would think, okay, maybe he's not what he was a few years ago. Maybe he ain't worth it, but he's got to be better than Kavon Wallace, right? Hey, String, where's Wallace, String? Where's Wallace? You know what I'm saying? You would think he's better than Kavon Wallace, but they waived him. And part of it is he wasn't around with camp and practices. He missed a lot of time. Well, they miss a lot of time in preseason as far as I'm concerned. But this is disappointing to me. I was actually excited about this signing. I thought that he was going to come in and be a good bridge safety, and I thought he was going to compete with Anthony Harris. Not a chance. He is gone. Okay? Now, let me just explain this. Some guys are released. Some guys will be waived. When you're released, it means you've played long enough, you're vested in the NFL, where you just become a free agent automatically. When you haven't, then you go through waivers. And in those waivers, you have to go through, I think, 24-hour process where teams can claim you. And if nobody claims you, you then become a unrestricted free agent. So that's what's going on. That's the difference, if you were wondering. But the Jaquiski Tartt is really disappointing to me. I really wonder what the Eagles are going to do, because I am not so sure Kavon Wallace makes his team. I'm not sure. I don't think he's deserved it. If Wallace makes his team, it's simply because he's a Howie Roseman pick. That would be the only reason. Now, I look at the safety position and I say, you only really have one veteran. I mean, I guess Epps is somewhat of a veteran, but with real experience is Anthony Harris. The Eagles could very well look to get a safety. I wouldn't be surprised if you see something where the Eagles cut Kavon Wallace and cut Blankenship. Now you're saying, why would they cut Blankenship? He deserves to make the roster. He does. He definitely deserves to make the roster. But I don't know if he's going to, because of just the way the Eagles do things. I could see him on the practice squad, something like that. But Blankenship deserves it. He deserves it. So if they were to cut Tartt and cut Kavon Wallace and keep Blankenship, I'll be okay with it. I will be okay with it. But, I'm not sure what they're going to do with safety. It really depends what they do with Kavon Wallace. But I think there's a good possibility we still could see the Eagles add a safety from another team. That's my point. But let me be clear. Blankenship deserves to make this team. He did enough, in my opinion, to make this team. I'm just trying to think the way the Eagles would think, and I don't know what they think. That's basically the truth, okay? Let's talk about Jason Huntley for a second. Jason Huntley, to me, he got a ton of time in preseason, and they just wanted a body to go out and play, and they wanted to give him every opportunity and a great look. They cut him, meaning they only have 3 running backs. It's hard for me to believe that the Eagles are willing to go into the season with only 3 running backs. I got to think that the reason they cut Huntley is because they're making and creating a space for a running back that they will add later. So I believe that the Eagles I think they're very much going to add a running back. I think that I feel more confident about that than I do about the safety. So it's going to be interesting. And then Carson Strong. Let's talk about Carson Strong. This was the craziest ultimate situation I've ever seen. It was total stupidity, in my opinion. And here is why. You sign this guy as an undrafted free agent. You then proceed to let him throw, 3 passes in 3 games? He hardly played. And then you want to say, well, he hardly played because he doesn't know the system and they didn't want to put him out there because he doesn't know what he's doing. It's preseason. Who cares? You didn't have a problem having Miami score 40+ on you. It wasn't an issue. So what's the difference? Put him out there. Let's see what he can do. He got the highest amount of guaranteed money of any undrafted free agent. It's like $300,000 guaranteed. I mean, put him out there. What do you have to lose? A preseason game? I don't get it. Especially if you weren't going to keep him. Now me, if I was the Eagles, right, and I'm Jeffrey Lord, and I'm making all those billions, and I got Howie sitting next to me, I got my son, he's to my left, he's playing Apple phones on his computer, on his phone. I hate games on your phone, by the way. I'm not a believer in games on the phone. Then you got Howie Roseman. He's calculating calculations of cornbread, big ass pencil protector on, big thick bifocals, and he's calculating the calculations of cornbread, trying to figure out what he's going to do, what he's going to pay, how much money this comes, how much are they going to take for home games and revenue for the new Kelly Green jerseys coming out. He's calculating. So you get Howie Roseman. The Eagles decide, we're going to pay this guy $300,000. All right? Guaranteed. But we're not going to play him because he's not good enough. Then cut him. Cut him 2 weeks ago. Find yourself another prospect quarterback and bring him in and let him play. Anybody can be better than Chinstrap. Okay? That Sinet guy stinks. And I think he's going to end up getting cut too. I don't think the third quarterback is even on this team right now. Okay? So I don't understand the Carson Strong thing. I don't understand what they were doing. The only thing that I can think of is that they're going to bring him back on the practice squad. I mean, and they didn't want any tape on him. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, the whole thing doesn't make sense. You paid him $300,000. He doesn't know the system. You don't want him to play preseason. Just get rid of him. I'm going to make billions of dollars, Howie. Just get rid of him. You're going to get rid of him on August 29th anyways. I think we got to watch Carson Strong because I think there's a possibility that he comes back to the practice squad. And people are going to be like, why is he back on the practice squad? They're stashing him. It's the only logical explanation I can think of. I don't know. We'll see. But basically, that's what we have so far. While I have you here, it's like I'm a teacher or something. While I have you here, students, let me check the cut tracker to see if any other guys have gotten cut. As of right now, nothing. Nobody else has been released to this point. If there's more guys, a bunch of guys released later, I maybe do another video. I'm not going to do a video every time somebody gets cut. I'm not Mark Holmes. But, when we have big groups multiple guys to talk about, and we get to the final 53, that kind of thing. I'll definitely be putting videos out. But the other thing I want to talk about is to me, the big thing hanging over the heads of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. What are you going to do with Jalen Reagor and possibly Andre Dillard? Okay, we've heard reports that the Eagles have been taking calls on Andre Dillard, and the asking price is high. It is high. Now I got to tell you, I don't know what the Eagles are asking for, but how he does trade wise, I absolutely trust him. I don't sweat trades when it comes to Howie at all. I've never seen this man lose a trade. He has never lost a trade. So I trust him to get the right price if they decide to trade Andre Dillard. But I got to tell you, I'm not trading him. Right now, there's no way I'm trading him. Because you'd have to give me at least a first-round pick. And it'd probably have to be like a first-round pick with a team that I think can pick within the top 15. Like, I'm not just giving up a left tackle like that. I just can't. Part of me wants to do it. Like, I want to do it, but I can't. I can't because that is a premium position. Now, if somebody gives me a first-round pick, hey, then we're talking. Now we're talking. But anything less than that, I'm keeping him. I have no problem keeping him one more year. I have a little security at left tackle at least for a year, and it is what it is. Hopefully we won't need him. But, I mean, it's just a shame he can't play over on the right side. It's just a shame he can't be like a swing tackle. Then I would say pick up his extension, pick up his contract, keep him around, and then eventually replace Lane with him when Lane gets older. But he can't. So, that's the question. What are they going to do with Dillard? Dillard, they're getting calls for him, and they're getting, and his asking price is high. And I totally agree with it. Reagor, the mystery continues. I don't know. I think they're going to listen to calls for Reagor. I don't think anybody's going to really give them anything. And I think he winds up making this roster. I think the Eagles are going to keep 6 wide receivers. It is interesting. Greg Ward is still on the team. They're practicing today. We're kind of out of the training camp preseason mode. Now it's regular season mode. So they're at practice. They practice pretty much every day. I know that Greg Ward is there at practice, so he hasn't been cut yet. And I wonder what they're going to do. You're going to keep 5 receivers. You're going to keep 6 receivers. One guy that wasn't at practice we should talk about real quick is Richard Rodgers. Now there has been no word on whether he's going to get cut or not, but he was playing with like the 4th-string players the other game last week, and then the week before pretty late too. So I don't know if it was just the numbers thing where they had to have somebody on the field, but I think Richard Rodgers could be in danger. I think Calcaterra makes it, and then I think Jack Stahl make it. So it's going to be interesting. And you guys might have heard O.J. Howard. The Bills may be cutting him. They're trying to look to trade him. I think that would be a good move if you could get O.J. Howard on the cheap as your number 2 tight end. He never panned out to be what we all thought he was going to be, but I still think he could be a tight end number 2. I wouldn't give a lot for him. I wouldn't. I really think that the Eagles have to focus on trying to move Reagor, and I think you have to get another running back, and I think you got to look at the safety now because I think you're going to need depth because I'm not sure where this is going to go with Kavon Wallace and Blankenship. I'm just not sure. But the Eagles are making moves. This is going to be a fascinating 24 hours because, and remember, a lot of times we see certain things happen where, like, let's say you'll have, like, just as an example, you'll have the Eagles keep 7 wide receivers. Why did the Eagles keep 7 wide receivers? And then you find out that they were talking to a team about possibly trading for one of those guys or they're waiting for something to come free and then they cut the guy or they do something. So we'll see the initial 53-man roster and then you'll see it. You'll see the Eagles fiddle around with it, take guys off waivers, things like that. Devin Allen, Britton Covey, let me talk about those guys real quick. I think Devin Allen's got to be, you got to keep Devin Allen. He showed a lot of promise in the last 2 games. Not just as a receiver, but as special. I mean, he's fast. He gets downfield fast. I have to keep him, and I can't. I think he'll clear waivers. I think, but I can't. I might not be able to risk it. And if I go 6 wide receivers, I might let Reagor go or trade him, and then wind up putting Devin Allen in that last spot. Have him and Kane. So I would have, Devontae, AJ Brown, Quez, Zach Pascal, Deion Kane, and Devin Allen. I think I would take a chance on something like that. I really would. I don't want to lose him, that's for sure. Let me know what your comments in the comment section. Maybe be back with a video later today. We will see. It just really depends how many names come out, how big of a list we got to go over. Like I said, I don't want to bother you for like 2-minute videos every time a stinky player we knew was going to get cut gets cut. Not going to do that. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. I give a huge shout out to 2 people, Steven and Dementia from Twitter. Both guys sent me Madden Codes, and it was just very, very generous of them. I truly appreciate it. I do have Madden now. So I have Madden. I played it a little bit. It's Madden. It's like all the other Maddens. Graphics are a little better. I'll give them that. But I just want to let you guys know. I'll leave my ID in the description. And I'm going to practice up a little bit. Then I'm going to double moonwalk all your asses. With that said, Denzel Washington out.